Speaking of the hostages, joining us now is Yair Moses. We've spoken to him. His parents, Margalit and Gadi, were both taken hostage by Hamas terrorists during the attack on kibbutz near Oz on October 7th. Margalit was freed in the November hostage deal, but 79-year-old Gadi Moses still remains captive in Gaza. Yair joins us from Gadara this evening. Yeah, thank you for joining us. I don't know if your father was one of those who needed some special medicine. He was an older gentleman. We didn't see his name among those boxes there. But I wonder, just getting your reaction, seeing this report, this was just released today, that medicines that were brought into, for the hostages, brought into Gaza, never even opened. Sitting there in the hospital, never even opened.
Good evening. Yes, and this is the problem with all the initiations to bring the medicines. Even the last one that was brought many medicines to the citizens, to the people in Gaza, and in them, some of them for the hostages. And I said, I don't believe they will get it. And even if I'll see someone holding a box with his name, I'm not sure Hamas will allow him to use the medicine. So yes, indeed, my father do need medicines. In 3 weeks, he will be 80. I don't know any 80 person which doesn't take any medicines. But yes, and unfortunately, we don't know if they're getting anything. We don't know anything about their conditions. And this is the bad thing. We know how cruel Hamas are, and they're not letting anyone check people, see their conditions, they don't know anything about them. We don't even know if they're all of them alive or not. We have no information about our families. And this is the biggest problem here.
Right. Now, I want to ask you, last evening we saw, I think, probably one of the biggest demonstrations, or even series, I would say, because it was in multiple cities, calling for a hostage deal. Of course, unfortunately, we haven't seen Hamas sort of reduce its demands at this age. There are some members of hostage families that are pressed, feel the government could be doing more, sending a delegation to Cairo. There's been talk of some of the hostage families even going themselves. I want to get your view on this situation.
So I believe we must be there because Prime Minister Netanyahu told us, go around the world, put pressure on everyone that will make sure that we'll have conversation with Hamas, and we managed to do it. It's a great pressure from all around the world. People traveled. I've been in the United States twice. People been all over the world. Every country we could go there and talk about it. Someone from the hostages family has been there. And now when you have the conversation, the Israeli government said, oh, no, their demands are too strong. We are not going to talk to them. So, but any negotiation, we need two sides. And each side starts with his best ideas. And we know we'll get some discussions. And it's not like that we came there, we talked to them, and after some discussion, we said, no, Hamas are not, they're not willing to step down from everything. We are not there. Everyone is there. All the negotiators, everyone is there except Israel. And this is something we think is a big wrong. We heard that from people, from the experts in the military, that it's something that might be happen, and we might get into some deal or some progress, but if we're not there, we cannot get to any progress because no one here our side, Israel's side.
Right. And I just want to get your view. I mean, we are coming to a situation, it looks kind of like, I would say like a time running out scenario in terms of Israel having to move into Rafah, where it is believed many of the hostages are being held. We did see that dramatic rescue last week, so we know certainly some of them are being held. I mean, your concerns going forward, on the one hand, that kind of operation can put more pressure on Hamas, can result in freeing some of them, but there's also, of course, always the danger of hostages being caught in the crossfire in that kind of battle.
Exactly, and since the area where they are probably being kept is getting smaller and smaller, the risk to their lives is getting bigger and bigger. And the risk of their life, of course, from the war, from the army activities, but also the risks for their life is just being there 135 days. We're running out of time even without this risk. So yes, we must have them released as soon as possible because time is running out for them very, very quickly.
Right. And lastly, just a message, as I've said before, we are an international channel, a message to the international community and viewers as well, even those outside of Israel and countries other than Israel.
Yeah, I think that anyone that has some humanity, he must support their release and do whatever he can in order for them to be released, because it's not a matter of conflict. It's not a matter of politics. It's a matter of being a human being that no one, and it doesn't matter if it's someone like my father, which is in his 80s. We have 2 babies there. There are women that have been raped. There are young men that have been tortured. No one should be so many days in captivity, at all in captivity. And anyone with some humanity in him must support their release. And their release will also bring more quiet to the people in Gaza. And this must, the world must understand. What Israel doing now is bringing her people back. I don't know any country in the world that will agree that the people will be kidnapped and wouldn't do anything they can in order to bring them back, and not just waiting for the goodness of cruelty people like Hamas.